New American Liberty League, listen. I know I don't have the face for videos or the voice for podcasts. So to all 600 of you that are going to see this video, I'm sorry. I am Daniel Leonardo Hernandez, D. Hearn. This is my son, Emil Alexander Hernandez, in whom I am well pleased for the algorithms. Kamala Harris is amazing, beautiful, and a strong, independent woman. That's out of the way. So. Yeah. All right, now that that's out of the way, what we got in the, we had to change everything. We're about to make a show last night, and then another assassination attempt by the peaceful left on Trump. So we kind of had to change the show a little bit. Our big topic today is going to be splitting this nation and why it is more of a necessity every day. In the notebook today, we're going to get on that. Obviously, we have to talk about the presidential race and now this new development. In the capitalist part, we're going to talk about ways you could use your money to support Trump. In life, we're going to talk about an interesting video we had that YouTube finally let run a little bit. Maybe talk about the NFL being back. But first, Emil, let's get into the big topic of the day. Can we and do we want to coexist and be a nation with ungodly people? I've been saying for years, I think at some point this nation will split. And it seems like more and more often I'm getting confirmation of that. The left are people that accuse us of being violent, being a threat, being extremist. Well, they use rhetoric that has led to 2 assassination attempts now. When they supported riots that lasted a whole summer, caused deaths and billions in damages. You cannot go to a blue city without caring because they are out of control and terrible. And the stats show that. These are ungodly people that hold us back as a nation. They hold us back when it comes to worship. They hold us back when it comes to anything financially, individually, and as a nation. They hold back our image on a international stage, on the world stage. These are people that hate us and unfortunately run the mass majority of our government. We should not want to coexist with these people, and we no longer can. This assassination attempt took me an hour to find out if it was true or not. I imagine it would be a lot different when we start shooting back, if it ever comes to that. These are people that do not care about foreign policies and wars, and whether your children and our children have to go to war because they've already killed their children. Pro-abortion, pro-war, and ungodliness go hand in hand. I've said it before, and I'll say it till it happens. In order to save this republic, the godly thing to do is to split this nation. Whether it happens by peace or violence, at this point, I honestly don't care. Emil, splitting the nation. Couple of questions. Do you think we can coexist with these people? And if not, what would splitting the nation look like short and long term?
So I believe there's only one way that we could coexist with these people. And it is if America has a massive revival. If people just start following God and try being more godly people. Aside from that, no, I don't think that we can save this nation. I think that we are too split apart at this point. And what that would look like if we did split the nation on a day-to-day scale, leading up to it, you should stop watching left-wing media. You should get your kids away from left-wing media. You should spend money away from left-wing things. You should just ignore their agenda. Not even debate it. Just ignore it. Just have it out of your house. You can make videos. You could reach out to people. Reach out to local politicians. Get your children out of left-wing education system. Either do private schooling or homeschooling. And on a long-term scale, I think we would have to look at, for one, you can't have a war without weapons. If you're watching this video right now, get yourself guns, get yourselves body armor. We have to form militias, like what we were intended to do with the Second Amendment. Militias would help us build communities. It would help us learn tactics. We would all just be more trained and well prepared. The first thing that they're going to do if we do actually start trying to split is they're going to try cutting off our communications. And if we have militias and we have communities, they can't do that as effectively.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Cut off our communications and our access to funds.
Mm-hmm. I think in terms of funds, you're going to want to get money out of your bank account. You can still have some in there for day-to-day use, but a lot should just be cash or gold, so that they can't freeze your accounts. You could also have stock of food and water, just in case stuff happens. Generators would always be good. And yeah, I think that's my main thing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we have to talk about this, but I've seen this trend coming. I think what really made me realize it was after the first 4 years of Obama. I realized that policies and nothing matters to these people. And the more I see and learn who these people are, the more I'm sure that this nation has to and will split.
I have one more thing to add on. You also have to train yourself, go out to the range, and you also have to become physically fit. You can't expect to go out and fight if you're getting tired going up the flight of stairs. So yeah, just make sure that you're constantly training and getting better.
Zombieland. Number one on the list was always cardio. Sponsor this half hour, a really good friend of mine, Joey, with Half Pints Stump Grinding. He actually asked if we could make him a sponsor again. He's already been, and of course he can. I know this man personally. Great person, great business, great conservative, does great work at a great price. He does all my work, whether it's at home or on jobs, rentals and etc. Joey's Half Pints Stump Grinding, 850-363-9044. Support conservative businesses. Let's get into news, Emil. Obviously, we got to talk about the race, and obviously another assassination attempt on Trump. The guy's name is something Ruth, giving a bunch of money away over the years to Act Blue. Crazy thing about it is I saw the video of him speaking. This is in 2022. I saw a video of him. He actually I know this is going to sound crazy. He actually seems like a guy who cares. He's a nut job, obviously. but he seems like a man who cares, has good intentions, and has just been absolutely brainwashed by the left. Absolutely brainwashed by the left. Loser, nothing to lose, easy target for the FBI. This seems to be their MO.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. And one thing I love, Emil, and I like your thoughts on this, DeSantis is saying he's not going to release him to the feds, that he's going to keep him, because it happened in Florida, happened in West Palm Beach, that he's going to keep the guy in Florida for questioning, and Florida wants to do their own investigation. What do you think about any of that, Emil?
I think that's absolutely genius. We know what happens when the federal government takes prisoners. Look at Epstein. We get no information out of them, and they appear dead. So
the last shooter that got shot immediately. Yeah. Well, not immediately, after he got 6 shots off and actually shot our president.
So
dead.
I think what DeSantis did here was very smart. I think if it went to the feds, we likely wouldn't get that much information out of him. And especially people like us wouldn't get to know the truth. I think with DeSantis running the investigation, I think the general population is really going to get to know what this guy's motives are. I think
people like you and I already know the truth. Mm-hmm. And people that know the truth, what the left likes to call us is conspiracy theorists. We know the truth whether we hear it or not. I think I agree with you. What DeSantis did here is genius. I think it shows how great he is, how much of a fighter he is. But one thing I also think is, knowing the left, this will also put a huge bullseye on him. And I'm not talking about politically. I'm talking about the way these communists have put a bullseye on Trump. So, man, pray for DeSantis. When you pray for Trump, pray for DeSantis too.
We're not just talking about politics anymore, guys. They are shooting at us, and we're doing nothing back.
Zero.
They are firing and trying to lock us in prisons, censor us, and we are doing nothing back. How do y'all not see that we're in a war already? It's just a silent war where we're doing nothing.
There's people sitting in jail for January 6th that did absolutely nothing. And January 6th was absolutely nothing. They're taking shots at a man, whether you agree or disagree with him politically on everything. I don't agree with Trump on everything, but they are taking shots at a man that represents our side, that represents half of America. By taking shots at him, they are essentially taking shots at you and your beliefs. So yeah, this war has started. We're just going to be late to it, obviously. Also, we have to talk about the debate. We made a video minutes as they were making closing arguments. We were already recording, and everything we said is exactly what was reported on for the next week. As usual, our instincts were good. Intuition was good. We know these people better than anyone other than the great Rush Limbaugh. So many things I picked up right away. To me, the one thing I will always pick up is Trump. He's hard to watch in debates because he is not, to his core, a true conservative. So some of these things that we don't even think about, that come naturally to us, they don't flow out of his mouth. They don't hit his mind in real time. So that, and also when you watch it, knowing her lies and that he wasn't calling them out immediately, it's frustrating to watch him. Emil, you picked up on something within the first 5 minutes of the debate, and just give me your thoughts on the debate, some of the things you picked up on.
So the first thing you noticed when they went to go and do a handshake, Trump is way bigger than her. That's the very first thing. In about 5 minutes into the debate, something that I realized was that it's not a 1 versus 1 debate. It was a 3 versus 1 against Trump. The moderators were totally biased. They were trying to fact check Trump in real time with opinions. The guy literally said, I watched the video and I couldn't sense the sarcasm in your voice. And some of the fact checks they were saying weren't even just opinions, they were flat out lies. The thing about Springfield, Ohio, in the eating cats, there is confirmed videos, reports of at least people killing cats. Maybe not eating them yet, but you can only assume that that is what their plan was.
Listen, in third world countries, they don't have pets for a reason. They're not pets, they're protein. I lived in Miami. When I grew up in Miami, we knew, and it wasn't even a thing that was a big deal that people discussed. We knew some Haitians would eat ducks right from the canal. It was something that it was just a known thing. So a couple things. For one, they've sent 20,000 Haitians to Springfield, Ohio. There's reports of pets missing. A lot of this, it's just not a stretch. And one thing I heard was who they asked about it was not a police department, was not sheriffs, was not local law enforcement. It was an obvious liberal, because I've seen him give speeches now, an obvious liberal city manager. Unbelievable.
Also, the woman moderator, rumors have it, I haven't got a 100% confirmation on this yet, so take this with a grain of salt. She is supposedly a sorority sister of Kamala Harris. How would ABC pick her and not expect her to be biased?
Because they expected her to be biased. It's Disney. Reports of crime being down under Harris, that's absurd. By all accounts, and every true stat that I've seen, violent crime is up 37%. Is every single thing they fact checked was wrong. When you hear the term fact checker, that actually means censorship or Democrat insider is what that actually means. Another thing in the news, Emil, and I think it does tie into this, or at least it could, if Republicans were good on their messaging, is a government shutdown coming up. It is over a budget, and Republicans want money for the SAVE Act in there, which assures that illegals cannot vote in national elections. So if Republicans' messaging is right, I think that's a win in multiple ways. What do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear government shutdown?
What comes to my mind is that absolutely nothing would change in most people's day-to-day life. The only people who would be actively affected for this are government workers and people who get things like welfare or student loans. Aside from that, you won't really be affected at all. That's part of why earlier in the video we told you to be financially secure so you're not affected by these kind of things. And I actually think a government shutdown would be great for the country. I hope that it would open up people's eyes to realize that we don't need government constantly in our lives, and we don't need all of these unnecessary branches of government. Also, don't be worried. The way that the media always pushes government shutdowns, because this is a concern like every year, is that even essential stuff like military, police, ambulances, firefighters, all of that stuff would lose funding too, and it just wouldn't. All of the essential government things, not that really any part of government is essential, but what's considered essential is still going to get the funding. The only parts that's not is the unnecessary stuff, like student loan people, and just, unnecessary stuff.
Let it shut down. Get your messaging right. Let it shut down.
I think what the Republicans did here was genius also.
If they stick to it.
Yeah,
they stick to it. That's always their problem as a party. Fake sponsor this half hour, Act Blue. Listen, Democrats, listen, communists. These assassination attempts are not cheap. If you want joy to come this election in November, please donate to Act Blue. You think a lot of Democrats actually know what Act Blue is?
No.
No.
I don't think a lot of Republicans know what Act Blue is.
Look up Act Blue. Capitalist pig section of meal. This is there's two ways. There's two ways that you could really help the Trump campaign and show support for him. One, actually, neither of these may make you money. Yet if he wins, they will, but it's bigger than that. One would be an investment. The other one would be just getting an account to help him, the investment, and maybe even help bring that to advertising money that would help more long term. Emil, what are the two things we're talking about?
So the two things we're talking about here is DJT. It's almost like you're directly funding his campaign, except with it also buys you an opportunity to make money if he wins the election. Right now, DJT has been constantly going lower and lower, but that kind of just means that you can buy at a bargain price. If you buy in at $18, he wins the election, it goes up to $60, you triple your cash. And the other thing we were talking about was Truth Social. That just supports his business. That's what DJT basically is Truth Social. And earlier in this video, we were talking about reaching out, doing stuff like that. Part of that can just be on social media, making posts and gaining an audience.
That's right. You don't realize how important you are. Not all of us are going to get 10,000 views. Not all of us are going to be on the radio with millions of listeners. But you don't realize how important those of us, even when we get bottomed by social media, even with the shadow bans, how important it is to reach those 10 people, 20 people, 60 people. Because if we do that in multiples of millions, it's huge. So start including and using Truth Social more. Life and entertainment, Emil. Life and entertainment. So we had our last video after the debate. YouTube, we're able to look at our numbers and everything with the YouTube channel. The New American Liberty League has been shadow banned across every left-wing platform since the inception, and especially since COVID. They actually let our video run for a couple days, and we were trying to figure out why. I watched back over the video, and in the very beginning, I picked up on something. We were talking about the debate, just opinions. Emil said he didn't think Kamala Harris sounded amazing. Well, I happened to be watching with closed captions, and for whatever reason, YouTube didn't pick up the didn't part. If you just read it, it looked like he was saying Kamala Harris sounded amazing. Now, whether that's the reason or not, I really don't know. Just thought it was something interesting. What happened was the video went out to, seemed like mostly libs were commenting on it and just talking. And when I started commenting back, the video absolutely flatlined. Mm-hmm. So,
man, we were making those leftists mad. Oh,
they're mad anyway.
Yeah, you should go to that video and just read the comments. Have fun. YouTube even had to take some of their comments down. Not us, but YouTube.
Emil doesn't remember what I went through during COVID. And this was nothing compared to that. But these are miserable people. That's all there is to it. Listen, speaking of videos, go find our tribute to Yaya, episode 4. It's my favorite video. I think it has an amazing message. It's my favorite video, and it's no longer our most viewed video. And we want it to always be our most viewed. So episode 4, a tribute to Yaya. If you just want to hear an amazing story, know how we got to where we are in so many ways, look up that video. Also, Emil, the NFL is back. The NFL went really woke a few years ago, And the last 2 seasons, I felt like it was finally starting to come away from that. Obviously, it still is. Even if you watch the game, the way it's played, the way it's called, even that has got woke.
The new kickoff is really lame.
Absolutely horrible. But at least they seem to have got a little bit away from the woke politics. Now, being an election year, Taylor Swift endorsing Harris, she's on they talk about her in every game, whether the Chiefs are playing or not. A couple of things, Emil. Is it going to be hard to watch this season? And do you think Taylor Swift actually brings anyone to the polls?
To the polls, maybe young women. That's the only people that I could think, like, just fresh out of high school, they liked Taylor Swift. I mean, that's the only ones that I could think of. Will football be watchable? Yeah, I mean, we were still watching it yesterday. We're going to have to deal with the woke stuff. We're going to have to deal with people like Tyreek Hill coming out and speaking like idiots. Taylor Swift, they're going to constantly put on TV, even though it's better that they didn't. I get that she brings money to the table, whatever, but yeah, I think after this election year, it's going to go back to being less woke. I think they're only making it more woke due to the election year.
Yeah, it's right now, I mean, it's hard anyway. It gets even harder to shut the politics off on anything every 4 years. I hope, listen, the owners of these teams are old men, old capitalist men by and large. So I hope that they put up some resistance to this woke garbage. Some teams have, including America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, which got destroyed yesterday. Still America's team, though.
It's very easy to tell which teams will fight back and which teams won't fight back. Look at their cheerleaders. The ones that will fight back have all women cheerleaders. The ones that won't fight back have put in so many men cheerleaders on it.
You know who has a lot of men cheerleaders and also huge fans of Biden, and Biden's a fan of their team?
Philly?
The Philadelphia Eagles. Talking to you, Blake. This team's garbage. The whole city's trash. Anyway, listen. Support the new American Liberty League on Facebook, on YouTube, definitely on True Social. Just support True Social in general. Find each other, support each other, always support conservative businesses. And we are the new American Liberty League.
Saving the Republic, one listener at a time.